I still remember that damned old man. It was the summer of '99. I was a little boy at this time. My family had a lot of problems when I was young, and still do even now. We were always short on money, and we were always moving. The second my dad would get a job, we would have to move for one reason or another, most commonly money issues that we could not fix. Anyway, we moved again after being 2 months behind on our rent. We finally got to this new neighborhood. The drive was long, very long. The neighborhood seemed nice. There were a lot of elderly people doing gardening, reading, and having little parties. I don't know what part about it, but the neighborhood was just too perfect. All of the grass was cut, and always seemed cut. Everyone was always smiling, and it hardly rained. We got to the house. The house was perfect like everything else in the neighborhood. The yard was perfect. There was nicely cut bushes, an already nice garden, and pretty much everything else you could imagine. Me and my brother, who was 14 and I was 7, shared a room. The room was also perfect, like everything else. A few days pass. My dad starts working, and since my brother and I are still looking for schools and don't need to do anything, my mom also found a job. The days that both my parents were gone were incredibly boring. There were board games, but my brother never wanted to play, and nothing else was fun. One day, an old man moves in next door. He comes over and greets us, and my parents offer to invite him to dinner. Since my parents were finally getting some money, we could actually have a decent meal. The dinner was salad and lasagna. I wasn't a huge fan of lasagna, and I was getting tired of eating salad every day, so I didn't eat much. During the meal, I felt as if the old man was staring at me. I tried to ignore it, but it got to my head quickly. The next few days, the old man would stop by and hang out for a bit. If I'm being honest, I'm not sure how it happened, but my mom ended up asking the old man to babysit me and my brother since we still haven't started school. I hated the idea, and my brother did not like it either, but my mom really didn't listen. The old man would come over Monday to Thursday, every day from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. For the first few days, the old man would just watch TV and read. But once a week had passed, he would start asking kind of personal questions like, "How old are you? Where did you live before here? Do you have any other family? Do you like your house?" These questions would come out of nowhere. The old man would also pretty much only ask these questions to me. After a few more weeks, the old man would sometimes follow me to my room to see what I was doing. One time, I was playing with some Legos that my mom had bought. I felt someone staring at me. I turned to see that the old man was just standing in the doorway, staring at me with no emotion in his face. I told my mom that the old man was freaking me out. "It's okay, sweetie. Sometimes older people just aren't as polite and they stare. He only wants you to be safe," my mom had told me. Although I was still uncomfortable, my mom was probably right. More time went by, and the old man just slowly got closer. My brother noticed and would offer that we go for a walk to talk about personal family issues, which was an excuse to make sure that I was all right. My brother would do this regularly, changing up the reason for the walk, and every once in a while, it wouldn't be a walk, but going outside, or just my brother there with me while I played with my Legos. A few more weeks pass, and me and my brother start up school. Not so surprisingly, my mom and dad can't drive me and my brother, so they rely on a certain someone to drive me and my brother. Yep, the old man. The old man calls me and my brother over to hop into his car and drive us to school. His car was the only thing in that neighborhood that wasn't perfect. The car was at least 10 years old and was beat up. The drive started. The first thing that I noticed was the route that he was taking. It was odd. And then I noticed that he had been driving for over 10 minutes, and the school was only a 15-minute walk, so we should have been there by now. I think my brother noticed too, because he was looking all around. I noticed it was getting hot, so I tried rolling down the windows, but they were locked. I then noticed that all the doors were locked also. The car came to a stop. My brother tried opening his door, but it would not budge. "Mister, where are you taking us?" my brother asked, trying to sound as calm as possible. The old man did not answer, but a smile spread across his face. We kept driving for another 20 minutes. We were now off the busy roads and driving down a country lane. Me and my brother were both terrified. All of a sudden, we saw a car passing by. Me and my brother both banged on the window when the car passed us. The man in the car turned around and drove next to the old man's window. The old man rolled down his window. "Hey sir, are these kids yours?" the younger man from the other car asked. "Well, of course. Just driving my grandkids around," he said. "He's lying. He's our neighbor, and he's kidnapping us," my brother said in a calm but panicked voice. The old man sped off as fast as he could. The younger sped up after us. He pulled out a gun and shot the old man in the chest. Thankfully, the car did not crash. The young man picked us up, and my brother told him our address. The young man called the police and explained the situation at a gas station on our way home. The young man safely dropped us off and called my mom. My mom sped home from work, and the two chatted. We ended up moving a few days later. I am just thankful that the younger man had seen us banging on the car window glass. I was watching a horror movie, The Terrifier if you want me to be specific, when I heard a loud text that scared me. It was an unsaved number, but the texts went like this. "Hello dear, it's your grandmother. Do you remember me? We haven't talked in quite a while." "Of course I remember you. Why haven't you called or texted me in a while?" "I've just been so busy with moving and barely had any time to talk to anybody." "You're moving all by yourself?" She didn't respond to me after that, so I continued watching my movie and then went to bed after. I really couldn't sleep because my mind was so scared. I watched another movie, something more happy this time and cheery. After the movie, I ended up falling asleep on the couch and then woke up to a text from my grandmother. "Hello dear, I am so sorry I did not respond to your text. I was so tired and exhausted." "It's okay, I just woke up, but I wanted to ask you something. Do you need help moving your stuff?" "No dear, I already have help from your mother." "Okay, but why don't you come over and we can watch a movie or a TV show?" "Maybe later. I need to rest up because I might come over in a few days." "Okay, Grandma. I'll see you in a few days then." She did not respond after that, and I texted her the next day, and still no response. She probably just hasn't seen the text, but I was growing a little worried, so I texted her again the next day, and then the next. Still no response. But then, after 4 days, she sent me a text message. "Hey, I am coming over tonight and I rented a bunch of movies that we can watch. What is your address? I am excited for you to come over. I can't wait to see what movies you bring. I'll ask if my mom can come too. I'm kind of close to you. I'll be there in a few minutes. Your mother cannot come though because she is working at my house." I called my mom to see if she wanted to come over with my grandma, even though Granny said that she can't, and she sounded perplexed because she wasn't helping anybody move. And then she said her mom had died a year earlier. I was confused and asked my dad the same thing, wondering if this grandmother was his mom, but his died when he was 5 years old. Chills went down my spine as I realized I gave this unknown person my address. As I was reading my grandmother's messages, I heard a loud knock at the door. It horrified me as I realized that I left the front door unlocked, and it would be seconds until they realized it was unlocked. And I was still sitting there in shock and unable to move, and then I heard a noise that made my heart drop. And I quickly hid in my closet and called the police. And after 3 minutes, I heard them breaking in and shouting, "Get on the ground." Gunshots rang through my house, and then a cop radio went on afterwards. After the incident, I was informed by the police that the man had been robbing homes and killing people using this tactic, and I was lucky to have survived. Hey guys, it's Tails, and thank you so much for listening. You've made it to the end of the video, which means you survived the stories. At least I hope you did. And don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy the stories told by the Campfire. Well, campers, that's all the stories I have for you tonight. And don't worry, that figure you see in the corner of your room, it's just a pile of clothes. I think. Stay haunted, my friends. I'll see you next time.